Tony, you mentioned you've come back for the money. What's your response back to that?
Well, is he fighting for free? Is he taking the fight for the money, or is he taking it for the glory? You know, I've been the heavyweight champion of the world in the past, and I want to be the heavyweight champion again. And I'm not getting a world title shot in the next few months, so why not get in there with Tony Bellew, a fight that the fans genuinely want to see, and you know, have a nice marking time fight. You know, it's broke records already. You know, the O2 Arena, it's the highest grossing fight the O2 Arena has ever staged. And, you know, Joshua's had his last 3 fights there for world title fights. This is a non-title fight. Yeah. This is what happens when I come to the table. And Eddie Hearn's realising that now. You know, so it's a co-promotion as well. Although he'd like it to be all about the Eddie Hearn show, it's all about me, I'm promoting it. It's a co-promotion, which he's getting a smaller share of. So I'm happy with how things are. You know, I'm happy to be working with Sky Sports again. I've got a very good relationship with them. You know, with Barney Francis, Adam Smith, everybody at Sky. We've had many world title fights in the past, and hopefully we'll have some in the future. This is a non-title fight, but it's a mega fight. It's a super fight, and you know, the fact that, you know, tickets got sold out in a matter of seconds shows the want, you know, to see me in the ring.
David, both fighters have lost 2. Both fighters are former world champions, champions. Is that where the comparisons end?
Yeah, if you look at our records, we're both 28 victories, 2 losses. I definitely feel we don't have too many similarities. He's a cruiserweight who won a vacant title in his home turf on his own promotion, on his own promoter's event. You know, I won my title by fighting on a Don King promotion. He went to purse bids. I won $150,000 for that. And I was fighting a guy who had beaten every fighter he'd faced in the last 10 years, and I did it the hard way, you know, and that's where the parallels start to differ. Although we're both technically on paper, we both had the WBC title. He beat a guy who'd never, you know, fought for a world title before, you know. So how can you become the champion fighting a guy who's never won a world title? But technically he's still a WBC champion. So credit for him to do that. He got in the ring, got knocked down, showed heart, showed balls to come back and win that fight in a fight that many people said he didn't have a chance to win. So I have to give that guy credit. Same thing when I won the WBC title. I got knocked down, I got back up and came to win. Well, the guy I fought was the current champion. He had the IBF, WBC, and WBA titles and the Ring Magazine title. So he had all the titles at one stage. So that's who I went after. So that's where we go. That's where we're different. You know, I went over to Germany once again to fight on the Southern promotion and fought the Beast from the East, and I won the titles there. So I've done things the hard way. I've done things the proper way, and once again, here we are in a big fight. So I don't think there's too many similarities. The fact that we both had the WBC cruiserweight title is the only comparison. He's got a very outspoken, grating, annoying personality.
I was going to say, you had a lot to say prior to the fight. You seemed like you came ready for the press conference today.
Yeah, you know, he always screams and shouts, but if you actually listen to what he's talking about, he doesn't really talk about sense. You know, he's very confident in his ability. He believes if he hits me on the chin with 10-ounce gloves on, I'm going to go to sleep. I don't believe that is the case. You know, they say a good man always beats a good little man. Well, here you've got an exceptional big man fighting a good little man. So I think his chances are slim to none in making this fight that slugfest that he claims it's going to be. You know, he screams and shouts about how poor my last opponents were. You know, if that's where he needs to get his confidence from, being good luck to him. You know, he just needs to know the shot that I hit Mark Demori with after 3.5 years out of the ring. You know, Mark Demori, he didn't look good that night, but he'd been Tyson Fury's sparring partner, who Tyson Fury said himself is a very tough guy. He's a tough man, a tough Aussie man, whatever. He sparred Lucas Brown, many rounds with Lucas Brown. I hit him with one right hand, he was asleep, and I was able to hit him with 3 additional shots after he was unconscious. Can you imagine me doing that same thing to Tony Bellew? What would happen to him? And this big 18-stone lump was stretching out of the ring, oxygen, straight to hospital, memory wiped. This is not just about wiping the memory here. You know, these people involved in his team need to really be concerned about his health, because they're putting him in a serious situation with a guy who holds no prisoners. When I hit you with one shot, I don't miss with a bunch of shots. I'm landing clean, concise, crushing blows on his poor little cruiserweight head, and it doesn't bode well for him.
Dave said he didn't carry any T-shirts in.
Pardon?
Dave Caldwell, he said he didn't carry any T-shirts in.
Yeah, listen, talking T-shirts, Dave Caldwell is the only person I know. I gave him a small T-shirt, because that's his size, and he actually had it tapered in. He actually took it to the tailors to taper in the waist to make his shoulders appear a little bit wider. You know, that's all you need to know about Dave Caldwell. And no, sorry, you rang out my sweaty T-shirts and my boxer shorts, so, yeah.
Dave, I was at your gym a couple of weeks ago, and we discussed about how Tony kicked off after the BJ Flores fight, and how you stayed cool, calm, and collective then. And you said you had learned lessons from the Chisora, etc. You came face to face today, and it seemed that was the opposite reaction.
No, he laid hands on me. That's what it was. No, I was not going to do anything. I was there to do the face to face. He then gets into my space, which I really don't like. I don't like being in that position because it's like, if it kicks off, it kicks off. And in hindsight, we should have had a few more security between us. But I thought, you know, after all that's been said, you know, I know the British Boxing Board of Control won't be happy with that. They actually said, no, keep it clean, guys. Don't, you know, kick off. But it wasn't that bad, to be honest. You know, he pushed me, and I gave him a little clip around the ear. I think that's all it was. You know, there was no blood drawn, there was no tripods getting wielded. So, but I got a little flavour for it. You know, I got to look at him. I've never been that close to him before, to be honest. So I got to have a look into his eyes, and to be honest, I didn't see any fear. I thought I'd see a little bit of fear in there, but credit to him, I think he believes he's going to win this fight. You know, which can only make it more entertaining for the fans.
Sure, and also, David, when Tony Bellew, prior to you speaking about Tony Bellew, it looks like you had a bit of an agenda against Eddie Hearn. What's going on there? Is that personal?
Not personal. I'm just sick of him constantly screaming and shouting. You know, he's supposed to be promoting his fighters. It's not the Eddie Hearn show. It's the Haye Bellew show. Why was he narrating that? We're both co-promoters in this event. You know, I'm actually getting more of a share of this fight. This is more my promotion than his promotion. And I sat with Sky Sport, I suppose Barney Price Sky. We worked out the deal. So why he feels it's like me going there, taking the mic and start interviewing everybody. I wouldn't do that. This is Adam Smith's job. This is what Adam Smith was there for. He's there from Sky. They're screening this fight. He should be the one asking the questions. He's a professional at doing it. Why Eddie feels he needs to take the mic and start asking questions, he just wants airtime. That's all he wants, airtime. If you look at Katie Taylor's interview after her first pro fight, I was really interested in listening to what she had to say. She got cut short by Eddie. He's there to fan the flame of his fighters. Not there to barge them out of the way and just, it's the Eddie Hearn show, yeah, look at me, yeah, I've got a new Bentley, yeah, who cares, you know? Can you imagine Barry Hearn, his father, who's one of the best British boxing promoters of all time, doing that? No, he got Nassim Hamed, he had Chris Eubank, massive personalities. He just put them up front and let them say what they needed to say, and that sold the fight. It wasn't down to him. So hopefully after this fight, he'll realise, take a backward seat, let Bellew say his piece, let me say my piece. You're there to promote the fight, you know, book the venues, do all the little bits and pieces, tickets and all this. Shut up. That's what you've got to do. And let the fighters let the fight. But me and Bellew can speak enough for ourselves. We don't need him piping up the whole time. So hopefully after this fight, you'll realise, you might watch it back and think, sometimes the truth hurts. I can see it in his face. He was thinking, maybe he's right. And everyone there was laughing because they all knew it was the truth. Look how many interviews he does just in his car driving. Hey, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Why does he do that? Wait until you have something to say, to announce, and then announce it. Plain and simple.
David, is your initial goal to get through Tony Bellew to go to Anthony Joshua? Is that right?
I'm in boxing for the biggest possible fights, and that for me is the biggest possible fight. You know, Anthony Joshua, great character, you know, very good fighter, but I don't believe he has, you know, the skill set to deal with what I bring to the table. He's fighting Molina. He's fighting Molina for a reason. There's many people he could have fought, but he's fighting someone who's been knocked out like Chris Arreola in one round by Deontay Wilder, who broke his hand in that fight. So I think the time now is him to step his game up, and I'm really happy if that fight with Klitschko gets made, because I believe it's a fight he'll win, and it'll mean that he adds another title to his existing IBF, which if and when I do fight him, it'll make the fight that much bigger. But you know, in an ideal world, if you ask any fight fan in the heavyweight division who do you want to see fight, they'll say myself and Anthony Joshua. So hopefully Sky, who've invested a hell of a lot of money into Anthony Joshua, I think they paid Charles Martin like £5 million or something to get that title. It's crazy money, but they bankrolled it because they knew there was money to be earned from it. And like now, they'll be earning money from this Molina fight. So hopefully they'll say, look, all right, Eddie, time to let your boy off the leash now. So we have to put you against someone who punches back a bit. You know, how about David A? You know, he smashed the box office, he smashes the ticket sales, makes everybody a lot of money. He'll get 2 or 3 times what he's getting currently for fighting me. You know, and I'm past it over the hill, dodgy arm. You know, I've been fighting bums or whatever. Let's see what he does. Fingers crossed. You know, sense prevails and the biggest possible fights get made. But this is boxing and it's a business. So it depends what you want. Do you want the biggest possible fights or do you want to sort of milk the crowd? Now, I'm hoping Anthony Joshua's a warrior. I've seen him in there when it's not going his way, and he's ticked all the boxes so far. So far, ticked the boxes where Dylan White put it on him. With Dylan White's the only guy who's actually thrown back punches back at him with some intent. And he passed the test. He passed a little gut check there. So it's good to see that. But it's Dylan White throwing punches and then me throwing punches. 2 completely different sports. And I think Anthony Joshua will be up for the challenge personally. I think he wants to test himself, and if his promoter is willing to do it, then we got ourselves a hell of a fight.
What's the situation with the WBO?
Nothing. They've you got Ruiz fighting Parker, so we'll have to see after that fight. I think they're fighting December the 10th. Yeah, so after that fight, then I think we've got to negotiate something. But I'm not worrying about that fight until after this Bellew
What
fight.
do you make of Parker then? His upcoming prospect. He's fighting for a world title now. What do you make of him as a fighter?
Yeah, he's good. You know, him and Andy Ruiz, you know, both very good prospects, both undefeated, you know, unbeaten. They haven't fought the best opponents out there yet, but no worse than any other prospect or any other of the heavyweights at the time. So I think we'll know a little bit more about both of them after this fight, as it's the first time they're in a fight against someone unbeaten and someone who's coming to win. So they're both prospects currently, but these prospects, one of them are going to have the WBA title soon. So let's hope it causes a stir. Let's hope it gets. I haven't heard too much hype about it just yet. Hopefully, as it gets closer to the fight, it will build up. Because the bigger that fight is, the better it is. You know, I don't really want it to go under the radar like it currently is. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that they'll start screaming and shouting, and it'll sort of capture. I'm not sure if it's getting screened in England, is it? I haven't seen any.
No.
Box Nation got it, yeah.
2 more questions.
David, it's funny. Ricky Macron, recent announcement.
Lucas Wrightson's that?
Recent announcement made that Lucas Brown failed another drug test. What are your initial thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think he'll get a fine and he'll probably be allowed to box on. That's all I think it'll be. You know, he already failed already and he had like a 6-month ban, but you know, will he fight for that title again? I don't know, because the blood test was by someone else. It's all a bit of a mess. That's why I'm just happy to be fighting Bellew, because if I would have had him as my opponent for the potential December 10th date, it would have happened anyway because he just failed the drug test. So I'm letting the whole situation pan out how it's going to pan out. I'll fight Tony Bellew. So on March the 5th, I can sit down and look at the landscape as it changes all the time. Like Povetkin and Severn do some issue with one of his tests, right? Yeah. So, for instance, that might happen. I don't know. So let the heavyweight situation play out how it plays out. I'm a knockout Bellew. Then March the 5th, sit down, see where the chips lay, and then sort of make my decision from there.
What about the Briggs fight, David? Is it a fight that you still want?
Listen, Briggs makes so much noise. I'd love that fight, but it has to be on pay-per-view for him to fight me. After this fight, it may be able to be on pay-per-view, so that fight might be able to happen then. But up until this point, it can't happen because he can't get the WBA title online, which he said he could get. So I think that all that screaming and shouting is all good and well, but if you're not willing to fight on a terrestrial network like he wasn't up until this point, then stop shouting. But you know, there's a few sort of people online who listen to his screaming so much they believe everything he says. So let them keep believing it, and as long as they're engaged in some way, shape or form, good luck to him. But come fight night, you know, he's got no chance of beating me in any way, shape or form. He's got about as much chance as Tony Bellew has. I'm just way too fast, way too agile, punch too hard. And if he thought he took a beating against Vitaly Klitschko, he's going to get that times 10. You know, but someone's saying he might get a shot at the WBA title now as well. So great, if he can get that title then it'd be a fight that I think I'd like that fight. I'd definitely like that fight because there's a few people online particularly who want to see that fight. So great.
Thanks, guys.